It is absolutely mind-blowing what is happening energetically right now. It is simply incredible that we are right in the middle of this gigantic consciousness shift of humanity right now. And we are experiencing it. And through our ascension in consciousness, we can also shape this shift and create the new earth. And it is becoming increasingly clear. And I am quite sure that if you listen here regularly, you're also one of those who feel this very, very clearly within themselves. And now we have another new energy, indeed, because the cosmic news tells us that we are currently actually experiencing a psychic, an energetic upgrade, actually. And it is truly, absolutely astonishingly incredible how we are really being pushed more and more upwards in this ascension. And yes, this can certainly and definitely take a toll on our nervous system and also our body. And that might also explain why you are currently experiencing various irritations or even discomfort, potentially. Yes, because this upgrade of our psyche, our nervous system, and our body definitely does something to us. Yes, absolutely. There can now definitely indeed be a feeling of irritability, but also anger and sadness, soul pain and fears, as well as immense and inexplicable fatigue. Yes, or even a feeling of loneliness and yes, indeed, yes, the sense of being lost. Yes, if you are definitely indeed one of the few who feel more activated and feel like you can move mountains, then just be happy about it. But maybe the content of this episode will help you bring understanding to others or even provide assistance. Yes, to those who are not feeling as fantastic as you are. Our nervous system requires a certain amount of time to fully adapt and get accustomed to this new, higher frequency, which represents a higher order of functioning and perception. Yes, for our nervous system, it's chaos. It can't recognize it's a new order. Yes, this alignment simply takes time. But just as much, our physical body is also very affected by this and needs time. And it can manifest through the skin, through energy loss or intestinal liver headaches. Yes, and ultimately many, many other things as well. You are an adult. You go to a specialist when you feel attention. Here I would like to have another perspective. Otherwise, I just want to point out the energetic influences in particular and how they can manifest in us in various different ways and forms. Let's take a deeper look in this particular episode at what very exciting things are indeed happening in our ascension process. My name is Linda Giese. I'm happy you tuned in. I've been a spiritual mentor for over 20 years. I am the author of the wonderful book Consciousness Next Level. Highly recommended, especially for the ascension process, but also the founder of the Being Potential method. Potentials of being, they make it clear to you who you are, what you need, what your strengths are. They're like a compass in your life, always showing you where to turn. It is amazing. If you want to know more about it, you can join our free live show. I have put the link in the show notes for you, so you can easily access it for your convenience. Yes, let's just start here now, because we are increasingly entering higher spheres in our consciousness and awareness as we delve deeper into our understanding. Yes, and yes, you can really definitely picture it like that, as if we are entering new stages or levels. And in these new levels, the structures are unusually crystalline for us, which means they have a clear, well-defined, and often symmetrical form that is quite different from what we are used to seeing. Additionally, the frequencies that prevail there are completely new to us, meaning they operate at different rates or vibrations that we have. Yes, really, we have no other choice but to indeed establish communication to make contact. And with that, information and transmission begin. And as a result, the following happens: our nervous system, our body, and our psyche, in a harmonious manner, continuously synchronize with the crystalline structures and these higher vibrations in a continuous and seamless process. And this, in turn, enables us to delve further into the intricate and complex energy and reality structure of the fascinating and transformative new Earth of 2001. Yes, it is incredibly exciting and full of potential and possibilities. Yes, and since this is indeed happening at such a very high speed, it can really take a toll on our well being. Yes, this process is ultimately a complete and thorough detachment from everything that has so far kept us from our higher being or our true self in various ways and forms and aspects of our existence. Yes, so everything that has literally tied us to the three-dimensional belief structure of our limited self is now undergoing a profound cleansing in a comprehensive manner that is deeply and fundamentally affecting every dimension of our existence. I am talking about our old limitations, wounds, fears, and so on, etc. Yes, indeed, and this is the most fundamental and essential process from the self to being, or more concretely, to being a conscious creator. Because even if it is still hard for some to grasp and understand fully, yes, we do indeed create our outer world, our external reality, through the power and influence of our thoughts, feelings, and strong beliefs. Yes, also the beliefs that indeed reside very deeply within us, beliefs that we hold and of which we are usually not at all aware in our everyday consciousness. Yes, and now it absolutely doesn't make any sense at all to believe it all. Yes, with this knowledge or assumption, we would only need the right thinking, or it would be enough to affirm or visualize something great. That's all well and good, but it's not enough. Yes, or also on the action level, to do this and that. Yes, indeed. As long as we are still internally convinced of our limited self, it truly doesn't make sense, in fact. As long as we carry the backpack full of our dramatic history and experiences that we have accumulated, yes, we have not learned and taught the backpack of it, we cannot transition into being. We need to look at this very clearly, despite all the beautiful spiritual fairy dust and cosmic energies and so on. That's why it can be quite difficult for us on this journey because we have to clean up and empty our backpack. Yes, we cannot transition into this backpack. It simply doesn't work. Yes, what is meant by what is in our backpack this heavy dramatic story? Yes, our primal wounds that have not yet found healing. Yes, that's what is meant. Yes, these traumatic experiences, these injuries, yes, but also this being driven by unconscious or conscious fears, by worries and problems, indeed, and more. Yes, that's simple, indeed. These are all attachments to the self, to the limited self. And of course, that's a tough pill to swallow for someone who is knee-deep in problems and is simply terribly worried. I understand that, but we really indeed experience daily miracles with people who are in the same situation, standing with both feet in problems. And when they suddenly transition into being, the problems disappear. It doesn't mean there are no more challenges. That's a different story, that they are no longer problems. You simply have hints about what to do next. We usually call that a challenge. But the drama of the story or the drama of the problems dissolves. It simply no longer has any justification for existence. Yes, and as I told you, we really experience this day by day with our participants. So, when they clear the heavy baggage from their backpack from our being potential program, because it could finally find healing, the channel to the higher self truly opens. That is also totally logical to me. Yes, and then it only makes sense to indeed engage with these high mental, spiritual abilities. Absolutely. These bring forth our creator energy. And with that, we can clearly create our new reality. Yes, we no longer need to refine and visualize. We can use that additionally, but we create from our being. Yes, we really had the last few days now, and Kirsten really impressed us because she told us everything with such energy. It was truly exciting. She told us herself, still really impressed herself especially, that just by no longer living two of her being potentials in opposition, she has especially acknowledged why she had lived them oppositely all those years before. It had something to do with fears and a primal wound. Since she let it go, peace suddenly returned to her life. Yes, at first peace, calmness, and genuine joy. She really did say that indeed. She didn't realize how fascinating it was. She had never felt such peace and such joy. She could notice this after things changed. Yes, after she perceives these real, good feelings for herself. And about 14 days later, after this joy, this calmness, and this serenity had set in, this peace, 14 days later, a download started for her. Yeah, at first she thought she can't remember all this information. And it's crazy what's happening. She said, it's like throw 7 wisdom books into my channel. But she says, something inside me can grasp it all. And yes, she is literally flooded with wisdom and insights. And the beautiful thing is, this information, indeed, this download, never stops. Yes, for her it is absolutely, incredibly astounding that she now finds herself in such, yes, gigantic guidance and is so very connected. And she had wished for this her entire life, but it was almost truly nearly unattainable for her. And now it is here. For her, it is a miracle. I am really happy for her, and above all, her surroundings are just as positively impressed. I am happy for her, but to me, it is not a surprise at all. It is beautiful, but it is logic. Yes, for when the drama within us becomes quiet and we make inner peace with ourselves, in our hearts and minds, and our lives, and the deep feeling of bliss truly flows through us, yes, then we are reconnected. We thus shift from the limited self to being. And with that, the channel to the higher self is once again open and available again. Power makes sense. It's not so bad, Mahu isn't that spooky. It's just an absolutely logical consequence. Yes, we are indeed spiritual, infinite, powerful creators, powerful beings. We are not just this physical body here, this human who defines themselves as I, but we are also being, and we are also higher self, and we are certainly much more than that. But to experience this connection again, it must become quiet inside us, and we need to clean up inside. This ascension process is in full swing. Yuzend is indeed actually very, very simple. It's undoubtedly not so esoteric. Yes. So let's get back to the energies. The cosmic energies are not only very strong right now, but will also be for the next few months, so you can become more aware of where you are still stuck in unconscious and stagnant states. Thousand be it due to various uncertainties and other factors like lack of self-confidence, self-awareness of your primal wounds or outdated and limiting beliefs and behavior patterns and habits. Yes, those that result from unconsciousness and how they affect your life. So you can ultimately even see on the outside, all over the world and also in your own life, it seems to us that old, outdated structures are now breaking apart, specifically those that no longer fit into the higher order. Things that you might have previously sugar-coated or failed to recognize as illusions, those deceptive appearances that once seemed so real, suddenly appear completely clear and unvarnished and unveiled. Yes, to be released from your consciousness, to be freed from the chains of your mind, to see things as they truly are without any distortions or misconceptions clouding your vision. Falsehoods are undoubtedly being uncovered by the truth. Changes are happening at an incredibly fast speed, and the transition to something new is unstoppable. In the big and the small, inside and outside, be it in your psyche, at your workplace, in your partnership, or in your relationships, whether business related or long-standing friendships. A new kind of clarity and understanding is slowly making its way and calling for healing and liberation. Yes, it is so gigantic. Yes, and this gigantic wave of cleansing energy literally shakes our blockages, old beliefs, conditioning, and emotional wounds. This is what the current phase is. And 2001. Personally, I find this really, really, really beautiful because ultimately, even if it goes into a challenging phase, it is the absolute liberation and healing. And of course, if you haven't gone through it yet, you might not be able to imagine how incredibly gigantic it feels once you have gone through it, or at least for the first time. I believe, yes, it continues like this. So, for everyone who feels more comfortable when it's not phrased so spiritually, and who have framed it more in terms of personal responsibility, it can also be put very plainly. Your personal expansion or deepening of consciousness, in other words. Your consciousness ascension now makes it impossible for you to continue carrying your old heaviness. It is absolutely impossible for you to bend any longer, utterly and completely impossible to accept being lied to or governed. You can no longer tolerate self-deception, neither your own self-deception towards yourself, nor the self-talk of others, for example, indeed. In conversations, you notice, holy shit, someone is really fooling themselves. Perhaps unconsciously, yes, but that person is wasting your time. You just can't bear it anymore. You can't accept it anymore. The air is getting thinner now. Find like-minded people because you simply can't drag everyone along anymore. And that can be really tough because it also affects people you genuinely love and appreciate from the bottom of your heart. It's not about not valuing them anymore, not at all. We were at that point ourselves once, so let's keep things in perspective, shall we? It's not about judgment, it's not about lecturing, or about dragging everyone along with us. Don't disrupt the processes of others. They are coming, but you can't take it anymore. And that is the whole background of what is happening right now. Let's see what you can do to facilitate this process of cleansing. Self-reflection and absolute honesty are the themes that will bring you to the core of the challenges right now. The core of the challenge is important as it must be resolved. It's similar to a root canal treatment. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. I don't know if you've ever had a root canal treatment. I've had it before. It's such a nasty toothache and nerve pain. And yeah, you just can't ignore it. She goes straight to the dentist. And whether you're afraid of a root canal or not, you face it because you simply can't endure it any other way. Yes, you can think of it like this. Looking away hurts, but facing it makes it easier and frees you. So, we need to indeed face the truth and ultimately, finally clean up thoroughly. You can always ask yourself when a trigger and a challenge arise, what is this really about right now? Yes, what? What is the cause of all this? Yes, what do I really need? What do I absolutely not want anymore? And really, don't let yourself be swayed by those inner arguments and internal debates and discussions and internal reflections. Yes, that argumentation flywheel that immediately kicks in and tries to tell you how it should work and why it shouldn't work. And these whole arguments within us that want to keep us nicely in the limited self, I would simply not consider them as answers when you ask yourself such questions. Instead, focus on the answers that come from your inner being, not from yourself, from your being, yes, because it is there, it is a part of you. You have just learned to focus on the self instead of the being. Yes, and when you open up, yes, then the healing journey that you gift yourself suddenly takes place in a completely new space. Yes, a space of love, self-care, and also closeness to yourself and to others. Yes, understanding and also appreciation. And it becomes increasingly clear to you when very heavy energies emerge, whether they dominate within yourself, in conversations, in everyday structures, or in your own thoughts, feelings, and emotional patterns and emotions. And you will recognize them more and more very clearly, these heavy energies. And then you can easily release them once you become fully aware of these dynamics. Yes, you can indeed free yourself from them. And then all of a sudden, unexpectedly, you find yourself back in the flow of your being. And being in the flow of your being, that is truly phenomenal and desirable. And those who are already in it, they can gladly comment on how wonderful it is, so that those who still have this path ahead of them can also feel, wow, the path is worth it. Yes. Okay, what else do we have? I myself, yes, I also have a big, packed backpack on, but it doesn't contain problems, rather gifts for you. Yes, and I would really like to unpack them if you want. Yes, so if you feel like you're really ready for more and you notice that in 2021 you no longer have any patience for your blocked life circumstances, and I don't care if it's finances, career, partnership, friendships, health, spirituality. If your life circumstances are blocked or you simply say, I can't stand it anymore, I have no patience for it anymore, or you're fed up with constantly getting in your own way, we all know that feeling. Absolutely. That we simply realize I am the problem, the world is perfectly fine, but I am standing in my own way. I could, but I just don't do it, or I'm not brave enough, or something like that. And if you're just truly very tired of standing in your own way, if you finally want to make the transition from a life of the constrained self to being and really want to significantly bring forth your full potential to the forefront, yes, if you're truly passionate about finally making a substantial difference, yes, and if you happen to want to invest in yourself and your personal development right now and are looking for a mentor and mentoring programs, especially one that really helps and truly fits you because it's finally all about you and your full potentials instead of a pre-made coaching template being imposed on you. No, where you are the main person, yes, where it's about you and your potentials, then I will give you. If you're indeed interested, I will give you 2 conversations. A short one where we initially first find out if we are even compatible. And if the answer is yes, then I'll give you a really long conversation of about, indeed. For 45 to 60 minutes, we don't sit with a stopwatch. It can sometimes be longer or a bit shorter, where we completely analyze your situation and develop a solution strategy with you, for you. Both are absolutely free one-on-one conversations with one of my incredibly valuable potential success coaches, so it's really worth it, definitely. I have put the link in the show notes for you. So if you want to quickly gather a big dose of happiness and self-determination for your journey, it's definitely best to book your appointment right now. For everyone else who is still unsure, feel free to come to our next Using live show and watch us first and enjoy the experience. This participation is also a gift. Yes, in love, the most beautiful thing for you, your sister in spirit, Yerlinda.